Hey guys, Beats Hair Plumbing here, and today I'm here with my recently acquired standard. I believe it's a Stallbrook. I don't know for sure, but I actually got this at an abandoned school. There were several of them. There was like 3 or 4. Most were in good shape. One was actually chipped at the spud, so I just grabbed the one that wasn't chipped. As y'all can tell, this thing is very filthy. It was sitting in the basement for God knows how long, and the reason it's so dirty at the base here is because this part was actually underneath the floor, and the only part that was above the floor, you can actually see where it cuts off. So only just the top portion of this was above the floor. And if you notice, there's a whole bunch of glue or caulking on the right side, but not on the left side. But my guess is there was a porcelain divider that went in between these urinals, and that's why there's all that glue there. I will take these apart as well. I will see if I can get that unscrewed. And what I'm gonna do with this is I will take it, clean it up as much as possible, and I will actually try to polish it and make it look shiny and brand new. So this urinal is extremely heavy, which is no surprise. It's actually a lot heavier than a new Kohler Brunham, because I've actually picked one up before and it was nowhere near as heavy as this thing, but they're still both pretty heavy. The standard logo is a little bit crooked, but it's very like intact. It's actually like indented or engraved into the porcelain a little bit. So it's a very beautiful logo. Here is the inlet of the spud. As you can see, all the water just kind of rushes down in there. And the reason there's actually a bump of porcelain there is to prevent water from shooting out of this thing. Because I've seen, like, if y'all know what American Standard Allbrook urinals look like when they flush, there's always one powerful rim jet in the middle that spits down and sometimes splashes. It's because the flushometer is shooting water directly into that rim jet. So what they actually did was put a little wall of porcelain there and made the water go around that, so water wouldn't come splashing or shooting out of those rim jets, which I think is actually a very, very smart idea. Obviously, this is a washdown urinal. These do not have built-in traps. I don't think they ever have came with built-in traps, but I feel like there's probably some sort of way I could set this up and maybe build a trapway underneath of it and see if I could get one of these to siphon. I think that would be really cool. But I'm actually going to do this video differently than all the videos I've made. And if you're wondering how that's going to work, my friend actually brought this really nice, expensive camera setup here. So I'm actually going to film the restoration process with this camera on this gimbal. And I think it would make a really cool video just to see how it turns out. So I just wanted to film this part on my phone to kind of explain a little bit about the urinal and how I'm going to film this. And now y'all will begin to see the restoration process on this thing. So first, that picks up audio, right?
Yep.
So first, I'm just gonna give it kind of a light scrub with this. I was gonna call it a green pad, but it's basically the same thing. It's just blue. I'm gonna give it a rough scrub down, see if I can get as much out as possible, and then I'm gonna hit it with some muriatic acid. But as you can tell already, it's scrubbing off a lot of that dirt. This urinal is also laying on this side as well, so there's so much dirt built up in these crevices back here. I mean, that's a lot of dirt. Now let's go ahead and give it a flush and rinse everything out. You see all that muddy water coming out? Look at all that dirty water coming out of that thing.
Oh, jeez.
That's why I like these pads. And you can just get those anywhere, right? Yeah, they're only a few dollars at Walmart. Even this part, the bottom part that was in the floor, is also cleaning up pretty easily. Still will need some acid, but who knows how long it's been in the floor. Yeah. Let me spray this down with some water to get that glue off. Look how that acid just makes it disappear. This is not something you want to be breathing in. Okay, I would say that got the majority. Let me go ahead and spray it down now. That acid is seriously some strong stuff. I'm smelling it all the way from back here. That looks much better. That stuff will almost take anything off. Jeez. So, I'm not really worried about the back of it because it's something you will never see. But as far as I can tell, this thing is pretty much restored. So I found, well actually, I learned this trick from OCC Plumbing and Restorations. You can actually use a broken piece of porcelain from like a toilet, and as long as you're careful and you don't want to cut yourself, it actually works fairly well to get some of this glue and caulking stuff off. Y'all will be able to see that here now. I know it sounds kind of sketchy, but if you do it right, you actually really don't scratch it that much, and even if you do scratch it, the pumice stone will get those scratches back out. So most of this glue comes off. I'll just go over it with this pad like this, scrub over it, and then the pumice stone to finish it off, and that will get the rest of any little bits that got left behind. And as you can see, you can't even really tell there was ever glue there anymore. So alright, now that I got a majority of this up, should be able to just scrub some of it with this, and then let's go over it with the pumice stone. Technically, yes, you can use the pumice stone to remove all the glue. It wears down the pumice stone a lot more than if you just get most of it off. So I am taking the longer route, but I want it to get done right, so. I'm just thankful this stuff is coming off pretty easy. Some glue does not like to come off this easy, so. That's two pretty decent sized chunks right there. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and tilt the urinal up to get this dirty water out so I can put some fresh water, and we will be back. Alrighty, that's already looking much better now. Okay, so here is the final result. This took about 30 minutes of work, but obviously the video is only about going to be 10 minutes, I'd assume, because I don't want to show a whole 30 minutes of me cleaning this thing because y'all would probably get very bored. But so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of show y'all the finished results here. Again, it's not perfect. The end goal was to make it look fairly new and not new old stock. So of course it's not going to be perfect, but I definitely think it turned out really good. Actually, there really wasn't any damage to this thing that I could find. The acid and the pumice really cleaned this thing up nicely. Obviously it is dirty. This thing here is going to be dirty, and that is also not a crack, that is just a scratch that I missed. But honestly, this thing turned out really nicely, and I couldn't be happier with the end results. Like I had mentioned, I'm not going to clean the back of it because it is just the back. And here is probably the date on it, somewhere back here. If that is a date, hopefully y'all can read that. But so yeah, probably in the next few videos I will film this thing flushing, but I thought it would just be kind of interesting to show y'all how I restore fixtures like this. And again, this is probably the biggest fixture I've ever restored and the most time-consuming fixture. So, but like I said, I'm actually very happy with the end result. It cleaned up very nicely. I do need to get some of that out there. I missed that as well. But even the underside where it was sitting underneath the floor, it cleaned up really nicely, and you can't even tell. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this guy back in here. And again, I am actually going to try to restore these parts as well. I'm gonna take them somewhere and see if I can get them polished. But yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, leave y'all's comments down below. And as always, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.